We would be honored if you would join us.
And who might you be?
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder. I love you.
I know.
Hi everyone, welcome to part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, please do. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Final game then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, like I felt, like I said, mentally, I felt like I was ahead going in that matchup because he was afraid of Navy. So I feel like he kind of checked, like he might have just checked out a little bit of game 1. But at this point, I just got done arguing with fantasy flight judges. Like, I wanted to go home. It's 5:15. I've been waiting around for 3 hours already. I just want to go home. Every single part of me wants to go home. But they finally agree. We get the cameras up. We sit down. We go. I 100% win this game because my opponent made mistakes. When this video comes out, this is going to be the cornerstone of how to I feel like Nate's not that bad of a guy outside of the game, despite what people believe. I've talked to him. He's a good guy. He just does things he plays to win. He plays like a Magic player. I'm used to it. I've been playing playing Magic my whole life. I'm used to people like that. But for this community, it's bad because everyone here is very nice. They're very close. Everyone knows each other by name, and they don't play like dickheads. Like, go into the Thrones community, though, completely acceptable play. Go into Magic, completely acceptable play. So I understand where he's coming from with that background. But, so I feel bad for saying this, but this is the game where you're going to look at it and you're going to say, this is how you toss a game. This is 100% how you toss a game. He did everything he could to punt. He ran right up to the finish line and then fell in the sand. That's immediately what happened. I want to say that I made a big mistake. So I made a mistake, sort of, semi. I'm just bad, and I didn't do something, but it paid off for me. There was a turn where I have Luke, and I didn't refresh him at the start of his turn, not because I've thought of that, and I was like, oh, I'm good, because he had the taunting ship out, the 4-drop, and I forgot to refresh Luke, so he couldn't just ball him up. But after the game, somebody asked me, they're like, "Oh man, that was pretty sick not refreshing Luke," and I was like, "No, that wasn't because I was good." Don't give me that credit. I was bad. I just forgot to do it, and it worked out. But so this game really comes down to the last turn of the game. Really, all you need to know about the early game is I think he had double mouse straight. He had double mouse straight, drew a resource every turn, just monstrously high. So he picks a turn to just go, I guess the little bit of context you need before, I had to build a Kyle Katarn Voltron, so Kyle lightsaber, whatever attachment. He gets rid of an attachment with Tarkin when I go into combat. I swing and deal 4 damage to a Tarkin Doctrine. He has 1 objective dead, Tarkin Doctrine with 4 damage on it, and then an Entrenched with 6. I knew there was no Yularen coming, no Fist, so I was good. Now, his turn, he proceeds to just take the entire game and punt it, right? Just deep, punt it real deep. He starts off the turn by just playing a bunch of dudes, using mouse droids, and then he goes into combat, swings with way too many units. Way too many units. There's no reason. I think to him, he was... So remember when I said I play to not lose? Because he was playing to win. He was I'm going to do this, and I'm going to win next turn. But in my head, when I play Navy, I'm I'm not going to do anything, then I can't lose.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he uses Tarkin. So this is where the turn starts to go bad. He makes combat. He's monstrously ahead. He's at 8 or 9 on the dial. He's going to win next turn. He put me on. I have to win this turn, or I lose the game. He uses Tarkin to get rid of an attachment on Kyle. Kyle's drowned in focus tokens and damage right now. My board is Dagobah Nudge, Sulan, Lost Master, Kyle, drowned in shit. He uses Tarkin to blank something, but he paid a neutral resource. And Tom points out that he paid a neutral resource. So Tom's like, hey, you can't do that. He paid a neutral resource. And then I say to the judge, well, since he announced it, he has to do it. Like if you can pay the cost, you have to. And then the judge says, no, he doesn't have any Navy resources. And then I say, no, he has a Tarkin right there. And he had an objective open. Okay. So I people can judge me on that play, but if he would have stopped and looked at his board, he could have focused his objective. I just pointed at the Tarkin and said he has one. The judge didn't tell him to focus Tarkin. He picks up a token and he drops it on Tarkin. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, this is the start to me maybe winning this game. But right now I have a Kyle with a lightsaber, that's 2 blast damage, a Sulan, and a Lost Master. And I need to blow up an entrenched defense. Oh, and a nudge, but he doesn't have blast. And I need to blow up an entrenched defenses and a Tarkin Doctrine with 4 damage on it. His active units are the defense platform, and then a 3-drop guy. I don't remember what his name is. The character's bald. He has a black tactics icon and a gun. I don't remember what his name is. He's like a bald, really white dude. The picture's really weird. His head's like, it's like leaning forward, all funny. I don't remember what he is, but he has Tarkin's icons.
Zed, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm bad with the cards. I don't know them all. But so he has that guy on the defense platform. He would have had a Tarkin too. If he has this Tarkin, by the way, I lose the game. So that's already step 1. So that's punt 1. He's also missed about a bajillion of that vehicle trigger with the resource where you remove a vehicle. My turn starts. I announce that my turn starts. I go into my draw phase. Where I say, okay, I'm going to go to draw step. And he's like, okay. So he forgot the vehicle trigger again, which that would have just killed me. I look at my board and I'm like, I need like any Jedi, and I'm probably good right now because I will just have enough blast to win the game. I'm like, as long as I draw a unit, I'm like looking at my Discord pile, I have a ton of units left. I hadn't played a Trissa yet. Maybe I did, but I know I had a ton of Jedi left because the mono freaking Jedi, right? Got 2 of every good one. But yeah, so I like draw the first card I look at is Force Rejuve, and I was like, this is a great start. Like I will be able to take all the tokens off Kyle. Fantastic start. And then I draw and I'm like, dig up a nudge. I'm like, not gonna help me. Next card, Echoes of the Force. I was like, not gonna help me. Draw my next card, dig up a Training Grounds. I'm like, oh, I see where this is going. I draw my 5th card and it's Ataru Training. And I was like, oh no. I'm like, it's coming together. And then I draw the last card, and I was joking about all those guys on the podcast that like I was gonna get somebody with it. I was gonna give them a little gift, just give you a little gift from the past. But yeah, and then I draw a gift from the past, and I like, as I'm looking at my hand, like as I draw the last card, everyone around me sees it and like gives like that sigh, like the like everybody's walking around with a case of the feel bads, and I was like, come on. And I was, oh, and I just say to Nate, I'm like, all right, this is the last turn of the game. You're going to win on your turn. If I don't kill you this turn, like I'll just scoop or whatever. I said something like that, like I just die. So I'm gonna look at my hand for like 3 to 5 minutes. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And I'm just sitting there like just in the tank. It was in the tank so hard, and I'm like thinking of all the lines because it's like I have 4 blast damage on the board, and I need to do 7. So even if you count unopposed, I get here. So I have to make a blast damage out of nowhere. And I'm like, all right, I have a May the Force be with you out, so I know gift's good. And I sat there for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then I was just like, oh yeah, and the Fantasy Flight girl, some girl was like watching the final match, and like I remember at a couple points you like asked me like how games were going that we were watching, and I was like, I don't know. like what kind of question? She's like, who's way ahead? How's this game going? I was like, I don't, like there's like 2 dudes on the board. I'm like, I don't know. Ask Tom. And that's why I kept saying, ask Tom. But yeah, so she takes a picture of my hand and posts it on Twitter, by the way. And I didn't know this at the time, but apparently people on Twitter were like, oh, he's dead. So yeah, because it starts off where they're like, well, I think they take a picture of the board. His board's monstrous. My thing has like 4 little idiots, like Kyle of a million tokens, a Sulan, and a Lost Master, and a nudge. It's like, oh, well, that guy's just dead. And like they look at my hand and like, yep, awful. Everyone's like pacing around me like, well, you lose. Like everybody's just quiet. I'm just in the tank, and it's just I'm like, oh, it's all coming together. I'm like, all right. At one point, I think to myself, I'm like, he still has to play me, and I have Navy. If I die this turn, whatever. I got another game. I'm like, all I have to do right now is just try to. I'm like, I can't try to not lose. I have to try to win. I'm like, this is the turn, and I was like, all right, screw it. And then I take my hand back and I look at him and I'm like, well, Gotta play to my outs. And like apparently when I said that to him, by the way, he immediately thought that I had the game. He thought that I had 2 force rejuves or a force rejuve and a targetive op. So I had already force rejuved Kyle because that was a very obvious play. And then I went in the tank and thought more. And then I'm like, all right, well, I got to play to my outs. I put a Taru training on Kyle. I go into combat. I swing with Kyle, Lost Master, Sulan Sympathizer. Oh, wait, Kyle's committed to the force, by the way. That's important. Go in. So at this moment, he has 2 decisions to make. He defends this, tries to not lose edge by 2, but he doesn't know I have gift from the past. So it might not matter. He might think that this whole thing's a bluff. So he could defend, not lose edge by 2, or lose edge, and I just don't have enough blast and lose. Option 2, he waits, doesn't defend with anyone, and then defends my second attack with the Dagobah Nudge. But if I have something to like, if I have another force rejuve, he's just dead. Because Kyle will get a swing on the Tarkin Doctrine and he'll lose. So he defends with both guys. At this point, I have Dagobah Training Grounds in my hand, Echoes of the Force, Dagobah Nudge, and the Gift from the Past. I had played the Ataru Training and then the Force Rejuve. So he's got 2 cards. And I know in this edge battle, I have to win by 2, obviously. If he gets to strike with either of his guys, I lose because he'll just tactics. So Kyle could swing, kill somebody, and then the other guy just tactics me and I die. So I know I have to win by 2. I first put in a training ground, or I didn't put in a training grounds. I think I just put in a 2-drop. I think I just put in the nudge. He puts in a card, and I was like, obviously he's going to put in the other card. I'm like, I don't even know why, because I was like kind of thinking at first about this edge battle. I'm like, why am I even thinking about this? I'm like, I have to do it this way or I lose. So then I just put in my Echoes of the Force, and then he puts in his card. I just say pass, and he's like pass. And I wait. I let him flip up edge first. I did it like poker. Like I made the bet and he called and I'm like, show me your card. And like so he flips it up. First card's a control room. And I was like, fantastic start for me. I'm like, please don't be tractor beam. Second card to get flipped up, 2-drop, 2 pips. I was like, ooh. I'm like, I got a chance here. I flip up. I immediately know at that moment, I'm like, I think I win. I think I immediately won the game. I flip up my cards. I got 4. So I blow up the defense platform, swing with Kyle. This was at entrenched defenses, by the way. Swing with Kyle, kill the guy that was defending, deal 2 damage. 1 from him, 1 from the lightsaber. Swing with Lost Master, swing with Sulan. And then I play Gift from the Past, gave him a little gift. Move Kyle's commitment onto Sulan. Trigger May the Force be with you. Do another damage, 1 unopposed. And then Dagobah Nudge unopposed at Tarkin Doctrine. And that was the game. It was like the sickest edge battle I have ever been in. And I was like, I knew when I looked at the hand a million times, I was like, this is the only way I win the game. I don't think there's any other way that I could have combined those cards to win outside of what I did. Like he needed to make the mistake. Well, I don't know if it was a mistake. He needed to believe that I had something for the second swing. Like I needed him to believe that. So I needed him to defend the first swing, and then I needed to win edge by 2. It was like that was the only way I could think of. And I don't know, maybe people can like recreate that some other way and think of another way to win, but that is literally the only way that I could think of to win. Because if any of his guys get to strike ever, I lose. Because what I did got me the exact amount of blast damage that I needed. Exactly. And like I don't think there was any other way I could have combined those cards to do that. Like maybe I could swing with something and then echoes off of Kyle. Like I don't know, and then swing with Kyle and then move it back to Kyle. But the way I did it, I felt like that was the only route that was ever going to win the game. But yeah, so then I won. But yeah, despite like I said though, like when that game comes out, like I feel bad, but Nate made a shitload of mistakes. That was really, really, really bad game. Like I made that Luke thing, and then I think I might have made maybe 1 more, but it was just watching him make mistakes one after another, and everyone's sitting there like and they're like watching him just chuck it. And as soon as that Tarkin got focused, like I knew I at least had an out. Like before that, I thought I was just dead. Like I thought I'm pretty dead. And then he started swinging with everything, and I was like, what is he doing? Like I'm just dead. Just don't do that. Defend with everyone, and I lose. Like how am I gonna win with a Kyle? How am I gonna deal 6 damage to an objective when you have 5 defenders? Like it's never going to happen. Don't swing. But yeah, and so when that comes out, that'll be interesting. People get to see that and take a look. But yeah, I do it. Like I said, I do like I'm sorry like you too. Like I mean, that sucks for you. You don't get to see it. Like you didn't get to see it live, and like nobody got to see it live. But it's like I was just sick. I wanted to go home. I had to drive alone. I had already been waiting 3 hours. I didn't want to wait 3 more. And it's like it's X-wing Swiss rounds. Like there's
Yeah.
stream X-wing Swiss rounds.
Yeah, I don't think anyone blames you in that situation. I think the fault lies there with Fantasy Flight Games. I know they do a lot, and it's good that they can stream, but you think with the amount they're growing and the amount of interest they've got in all their games, I can't see why they can't expand that front. They really need to, I think, next time put a lot more effort into maybe doing multiple streams just so that everyone gets a look in, because it's a shame that we keep getting pushed to the side all the time in
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah, and it's like it sucks because it felt bad, but I just wanted to go home so bad. And like I remember when I finished, like when the game was over and I packed all the stuff up and like I got in my car and I started driving, I could feel it right after the game had ended, like that feeling like you realize how shitty you actually are doing. Like your like whole body and like I just went like like I just felt like all the sickness come over me, and I was like, because all the adrenaline's gone, right? Like I'm jacked up, I'm playing in the World Championship, and then it's like, and then that's done, and I win, and it's like I'm like riding high on the win, but then I got in the car and I'm driving, and all of a sudden I'm just like,
Yeah, that drop.
like power down. But yeah.
Well, congratulations anyway for
Thank
an
you, sir.
epic
But yeah,
tournament.
so I got this
Cool.
little trophy with Vader on it. Phew. Which is funny because this is like a regional trophy, just
Yeah.
like on
On
a stand. But yeah, when I got it, I was like, cool. Like, wait, you guys went all out this year. But yeah, this was the top 16 was the Boba mat, which I thought this should have been the freaking World Championship, man. Like this thing is sweet. And then they gave us, this was actually a really cool prize, and I'm happy they did this. Like I see these a lot because I work in a card store, but like they gave us uncut sheets.
Blimey.
Like to me that's cool. Like I think this is sweet. This is much better than just like some garbage tokens or something, because like I said, I've seen a lot of these because I work in a card store, but for people who've never seen an uncut sheet, they're probably like, "Whoa, that's really really cool," right? Like I don't know. It's an interesting prize and it's different. I hope that at some point they give out like original art. Like they own the rights to the art, where if they would just give me a print, like a print of one of the cards, I'd be like, cool. Like I'd frame it up and put it on a wall. That's effectively what this is going to be. But yeah, and then I got so the playmat. Little short story here. When I get it, the headband's obviously on it and it looks sweet with the headband on it, but I had no idea who it was. And I tell Josh, and he's like, Josh, I don't know who's on the playmat, and he's like, I don't remember if I told him or Mick, but I told someone, and they're like, oh, you mean that Canon Jarrus playmat, the guy from the Rebels series, the animated show? Like, and then he's like, voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. And I was like, because I had no idea who it was. I didn't watch the show, right? And if you don't watch the show, you're not gonna know. But yeah, so it's Canon's Concentration. Like, it's fine. It's not awful, but like if you think about all the characters that they've done, so it's like, what do they do? Vader, Emperor, and Luke. And it's like and it's not even Canon's card.
No, it's an event card.
Yeah. What? Like, and then like I had no idea what it was. I was like, I've never seen that card in my life. And like, but yeah, and those guys are like explaining to me what it is and what it does, and I just felt so bad. I'm like, I have no idea what that is because I didn't read any of the Spark stuff. I never read any of the Spark stuff. I didn't watch the series. Like, I still to this day don't own that Spark of Rebellion pack. I don't own it. And it's like, yep, here's your Canon Jarrus playmat. I was like, who's Canon Jarrus? Like, what? But yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, so that was cool. I honestly, the more I look at it, the more I like it. At first, I was really like meh about it because it's just like Freddie Prinze Jr. like doing Thriller or something. I also talked about getting him to sign it. I thought about getting go to somewhere where Freddie Prinze Jr. would be and have him sign that playmat. But yeah, no, it looks sweet with the headband on. If you lay it on his head, because that's what they did. And he's like, it looks like a sweet monk. But yeah.
Well, there's one other prize that we can talk about, and we wanted to talk about today. So, winning worlds, you get to design a card for the game. So, have you had some thoughts about what you're going to design?
I've had 3 ideas, and 2 of them they've already told me no. I didn't even have to email him in. I talked to him right at Worlds. I was like, hey, I got an idea for a card, and I told him, he's like, no. So the first one, I wanted it to be, and I still think it's fair. I I've fought with him bitterly about this, and I'm like, it's fair, and he's like, you can't do it, doesn't matter. I'm like, I don't care, it's fair, tell me it's fair. Like, so it's a 2-drop light side resource. It produces 1. Okay, I have to set it up for you because me and Mick have been going back and forth about whose Kyle Katarn is better. I like Kyle Katarn. Here's in Legends Kyle Katarn. He likes his Kyle Katarn. I think his Kyle Katarn is garbage. It has edge 0.5. The first time I read it, I thought it was while you're attacking, not while he's attacking. And I was like, oh, that mechanic's good. And then I read it again. I was like, nope, that's just worse than edge 1. But yeah, so like we've had the My Kyle thing, and we told that we're gonna try and work it out this year where we're gonna go win the championship with 6 Kyle Katarn deck. It's gonna be 2 Heroes and Legends, 2 of his pod. But anyway, so it's gonna be a bunch of Kyle Katarns jumping out of a cloning device. Okay, it's a 2-drop resource for 1, and it ignores the uniqueness rule. Which everybody at first was like, oh, that's horribly broken. And I was like, why? Like, if it's a light side card, tell me why. I'm like, the dark side characters are infinitely worse than the light side characters if you have 2 of them. Like, oh, I have 2 Yodas. Okay, you have 2 Corset Vaders, and you force choke one of my Yodas, and he just died because he got reacted on twice. Like, yeah, double Yoda's much worse than that. Or like, yeah, 2 Emperors. Are you kidding me? Or like, oh, I have a Yularen out. I guess I'll just play another Yularen. Like, but yeah, and I was trying to think of like the light side. The best someone came up with was that card seems really broken with Brainiac. And I was like, if I lost a cloning facility Brainiac .deck, great. The game's cool then. Like, awesome. Cool stuff happened to me. Like, that's not an uneventful game. That's a very weird game. Like, if you drew your 1 of resource and your Brainiac and your other Brainiac, like, cool. That would probably be a very interesting game. But yeah, like, so that was the first one I wanted to design. And can you think of any light side units off the top of your head that are just stupid if you have 2 of them? Compared to dark side?
Maybe Dressar, just because of her icon spread.
Yeah, but then think of Double Emperor.
Yeah.
Like, when you talk about icon spread, then you have to, or like, oh, I played the 6-drop Navy ship that deals 3. My turn, I'll play the 6-drop Navy ship that deals 3. Or 2 Tarkans. But yeah, and like the light side has to play it. They have to pay 2 for it. And like, it's not super effective for them right away. They might be able to play another double. I just wanted to play 6 Kyle Katarns, goddammit. And I want to have them all on the table at once. Because I hate when I have a Kyle out, not a Heroes and Legends, and I want to play another Kyle to put like a focus on something, but I can't. And it's like, but yeah, so that's what I wanted to build, was the Kyle cloning chamber. So that got told no, like immediately. They're like, no. I don't remember what was the second thing. I'm just drawing a blank on the second thing, but it was pretty broken. I like weird cards. Oh, it was like, I think it was something to just choke all their resources for a turn, like put a focus on each of your resources to put a focus on each of their cards. Like, not units obviously, but like it was something like, I don't remember, I think it was just costed 4 and you put 1 focus on each of your opponent's objectives, so like not their house card, but they were like, no about that. And then the other was cloning facility. That got told no, like, instantly. But the card I want to make, so this is the card I want to make, we'll go over that because that's what people want to hear. Me and Josh have been trying to like get it in a pod together. I think the card is like, as its own, is great. I think they could do it for every faction on the light side too, so it's a light side card. I want it to be called Hello, What Do We Have Here? So like when Lando meets Leia, hello. But yeah, so I wanted it to be that. And if it got ported into each faction, the Rebel card could definitely be It's a Trap for this. I don't know what the Jedi card was. I haven't put a lot of thought into it, but it could all be the same card. So it was going to be a 2-pip card. It's a 0-drop event. Reaction: when your opponent places a card into an edge stack, put this card face up into your edge stack to reveal it. So like, if I attack you and then say I have edge 1 or something and I pass the edge, or I just put a card in edge and then you put a card in and then I play the event, I'll reveal it and then it comes back to my priority to play into edge. So most of the time what you'll end up doing is this can do cool things, like it can bait out twists. You can use it on defense to block icons. So like, if they go in and say they put a target op in and I put that in to reveal it, we're now tied. So you have to put another card in if you want your icons black, even when I have no defenders. Like, I think that's cool. The other thing that it can do is it changes the priority of the edge battle. So like how I said, where if I put a card in, you put a card in, and then I put that in, and I get priority again, I can pass, which means that you have to put the next card in. So I would have 2 in, and you would have 1, and then it would be priority would be back on you. But yeah, I like cards that mess with the edge battles. So, and I like because it reveals hidden information. So hello, what do we have here is the perfect name. The second idea was another edge card. Because like I said, I love edge battles. It was going to be a 2-pip force card, or a 2-pip fake card, that when it's revealed, it discards all cards with 3 or more pips from the edge stack. So like only baby pips win the edge battle for that one. So like that it would make it so if you draw like a handful of 1s, you're not just dead.
Yeah.
Like you could win edge battles with like, oh, I have 3 things with 2 icon or 3 things with 2 pips on them, and like 2 things with 1 pip, and then the fake card, sweet. And like that would be a very interesting gambit for the thing where people put in 1 card and then you put in 1 card and you both pass. And like it goes 50-50 with that. Like when you're playing against Sith, it's either an Emperor and you lose, or it's a twist and you start a new edge battle. Where like that card is the perfect answer to that, because if it's a twist, okay, you lost 2 pips. If it's an Emperor, oops, Emperor gets discarded, I win. Like, but yeah, I really like cool shenanigansy edge cards. I would make a very choky card if I could, or if they'd let me, I should say. But I don't know. Maybe I feel kind of bad. I don't think the game needs any more choke. It feels too much NPE. But yeah, the fake cards are cool. So I couldn't think of a cool Jedi name for it, but I think you could put that like as a fake card in each, or the event you could put in each faction. So right now it's smugglers for sure, and it feels right there. Like it's a trap, obviously. Like I don't know how that's not like a thing yet, but that card would be great named It's a Trap too. Like, oh, it should just be called It's a Twist. But
Well, I look forward to us in the future seeing what does eventually come out. That'll be very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that me and Josh are trying to combine forces to put it in the same pod.
That could be very dangerous.
Because his card's really cool too. His idea is pretty sweet. It's like a guy that like swaps himself in combat with another one of your guys and then gives himself a shield. He like ducks out and puts somebody else in the way, which is funny with the edge card because it's like, oh, you can sniff out all the bad edge cards. But yeah.
That's cool. Right, so as usual with the Carbonite Chamber, guests come on and pick a discussion topic. So your discussion topic today is the drawing an extra card rule, which you alluded to sort of happened in one of your games.
It did. Now I think there's like this, honestly, I don't even think we need to spend that much time talking about, because it's such a simple fix. Like right now it's so bad and it's not consistent amongst their games. And that's what the biggest problem is. Like if you draw an extra card in Thrones, it should be the same penalty than if you draw an extra card in Star Wars, but it's not. People don't get game losses in Thrones. So the fix that I would do, and I think it's perfect for this game, like it works. I'm pretty sure that like other games do this. Like this isn't my idea or something. But what you do is if they draw an extra card, so if I draw an extra card and you're my opponent, you get to look at my hand, pick a card from it, and then it shuffles into my deck. Because there's no debate then about like, well, what if the card because if you do discard a card at random, what if the card you discarded was a shit card and the card that they actually drew extra was good? There's no debate about that. You get to see their whole entire hand, so that's an advantage of itself. And you get to bury their best card. So there's no way that someone cannot say that that's like an adequate penalty. If you draw an extra card and you're behind and that happens to you, you're probably just dead. But like if you're monstrously ahead, you're not just going to lose a game because you drew an extra card. Like if that guy that I played was monstrously ahead of me and he did that, that would feel shitty for him, because it's like there was no way I was losing this game. That's the way I was going to lose this game, like inadvertently cheating. Like I don't think he was cheating to try to draw an extra card or something, because he was obvious about it. Like he didn't hide it. So it's like, why are you being punished this immensely for not doing something maliciously? Like you made a mistake and you're losing a game, and especially in the top 16, a game loss, that could be your tournament right there. Or like in Swiss too, like what happened to Shad, that was his tournament. Like, oh, you're done. But yeah, so I think you should just look at their hand, pick whatever card you want, and they shuffle it in. If you're monstrously ahead, you don't lose. If you're monstrously behind, it's a fitting penalty.
Seems reasonable way to do it. We'll have to put that out to the community, see what they think when the video goes out. But yeah.
Like, because that's the point of that rule, right? Is you're supposed to, you're like, if somebody's maliciously cheating, they're still ending up in a worse state than what they started. If they were supposed to have 5 cards, if they drew an extra one, and you take the best card of their hand, that's bad for them. Like, that fixes that problem. That's the problem.
Yeah. And then while it still penalizes you if you've done it by accident, you're still in the game, so it's still.
Yeah, you don't just like if you're monstrously. Yeah, if you're ahead, you're not just well now I lose. Like you were literally dead this turn and I lost because I accidentally drew an extra card. And especially with like if you can manipulate my hand size and you don't have to announce it to me every turn, like it's on me to remember that. That's hard. Like it's not easy. If it's just printed like on Shifty Lookout or like stuff like that, or like the mouse droid thing like I did, like he's probably just used to drawing a card because no one ever focuses a unit. Like what is the amount of times you focused a mouse droid? 5%, maybe less.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then it's like he's just used to drawing the card, and like it'd be bad like if I did it to myself with the Navy objective where you reduce your hand size to deal damage. Like if I do that and then draw 6 cards, that's bad because I have to do it at the start of my turn. It's very obvious. But like the Shifty Lookout thing, he could just be on the board for like 5 turns and you could forget about him. And then like, oops, drew a card, tournament over. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see what people think of that. Right, so now it's time to put some cards in the Carbonite Chamber. This is the fun bit. Everyone likes. Yeah. So we'll start with your most hated card. The card that...
Spark of Rebellion.
Straight out there, Spark of Rebellion.
Right. Yes. I thought about seeds because seeds. What bothers me about seeds? What bothers me about seeds is not the card itself. It's the idea that whoever made that card had where it's the same on both sides. Because it's not. No. Like it doesn't work the same for light side as it does for dark side. Because dark side has to commit first. And that's like my biggest beef with that card is it's not the same on both sides. You can't put a card in and then like it works both ways. But Spark of Rebellion, okay, so the reason I picked Spark of Rebellion, do you play Hearthstone?
No.
Okay, for people that play Hearthstone, it feels like a Hearthstone card. It's random, right? Like it feels random. There's games where I have like just rolled that deck over. Like just pounded that thing into the dirt. Like I'm talking about the Zeb, Ron's Guidance. So Zeb, Kyle, Spark, Yoda, pick Smuggler Pod. Doesn't matter. That deck, some people play Gamblo, some people play like Falcon or whatever. But like that deck is just wildly variant. Like there's so much variance in those games. Some games they have a ridiculous amount of units turn 1 that's just stupid. Like one of the guys I played against in a regional lately, like turn 1 played Ron's Guidance, triggered Spark, got Cannon Jarrus, used Cannon and a resource to play Yoda You Seek Yoda, and then bamboozled me on my turn 1. Like that's not how the game works. I was just dead turn 1. I was like, okay. I literally didn't know what to do. Like you literally just sparked me. So you got a 4-drop, a Yoda, you bamboozled me, and that's turn 1, and I can't take the force back. So you get a deal of damage, and you get to swing with those guys. And like, if he still wanted to play stuff, he could because he has Cannon Jarrus out. But yeah, and then he triggered it to go the next turn into redraw, 2-drop unit, the 2-drop unit that lets you do it, and if it's like an attachment, you get to put it in. And he did it with a resource. So it was like it's like the nut draw. Like I was just like, okay, like, but that's what I mean is that the card just has so much variance, and I feel like when I play against it, it's like a Hearthstone card. There's games where it just rolls you over because it got $10 worth of free guys, and there's turns where it just doesn't hit and does nothing. And like the reason that whole thing is just revolves around like Ron's Guidance. It's like the linchpin of that thing, and like those are like I wouldn't feel as bad about Spark if Kyle got restricted with it. But the problem is, it's the stupid Spectre unit clause. Like, if that's not on there, that card's not that bad. But getting 4 free resources worth of guys randomly feels awful. Like, it feels like such a no-skill, just, like turn 1, well, I guess I'll trigger Spark. Oh, look, a Zeb. Like, it's just like, every time it happens to me. And then, like, it also, I got a little salt, too, because when I went to that regional, so the like remember I said throw in the 2 random smugglers pods in that deck.
Mhm.
I spent so much time thinking about the 2 smuggler pods to play with that deck because I like never do research or like make decks or anything. I made a deck because I wanted to try Spark. I borrowed Sparks from someone and Zebs from someone. I had to borrow them to play the deck, and like I spent so much time thinking about the last 2 smugglers pods, and I ended up putting in Korhan because I figured it would be great against Navy, and I figured everyone would be playing Navy because like I had just won with it, so everybody was like, "Oh, cool, Navy with Nito, let's try that." And like I wanted Han because he killed mouse droids, he killed the little resource guys. If you swung into Tarkin and they made you swing again, he would get a deal damage again. Targeted strike was insane. He was great with Zeb's rifle, like having Zeb and him with targeted strike was insane. And like so I had this beautiful Spark deck built, and I go and play it, and it just craps on me. Like the entire, I just get the bad end of the variance all day, and I was like, I hate this deck. And even like I didn't play test it, I just built it and went. And I even played someone for fun, and I just didn't have fun playing it. Not because I was losing, I didn't care. Because I played a game like other games that day and had won. It just feels so bad. Like doing the Ron's guidance into Cannon Jarrus, like it doesn't feel like you're getting rewarded for playing well. Like I like light side decks that like trick the opponent during combat and do cool things in edge battles and play cool events, or like good rebel cards or like stuff like that. But that deck doesn't feel like that. It feels like you get rewarded because you played Ron's guidance. Like, oh, I'll play Ron's guidance. Oh, look, Cannon Jarrus. Whoa. Or like, oh, no Cannon Jarrus. Okay. Yoda, you seek Yoda. Like, oh, let's fire blind. Oh, I got a Zeb. Like, but yeah, just variance. Variance City. I don't like cards that are that variance. Like, but yeah, I don't mind attack pattern Delta. Is that the Rebel one?
Yeah.
It like sometimes it goes ridiculous too, but like it feels a little more controlled back because it's only vehicles and it's only 2 or less. Like you can't hit a 4-drop Spectre.
And the more Spectres we get, the more nutty it's going to become.
Yeah, it's just going to keep getting better. Like if you can ever get to the point where like the chuds, so like if there's a pod with like a 4 or 5-drop Spectre and then the chuds are like 3 drops and they're Spectres for some odd reason, like that's stupid. They can at least, like I feel like they could at least knock it down a peg by restricting it in Ron's guidance. I think that should happen because it's really the only deck manipulation in the game. Like I think their intention was you were supposed to play that with Lady Luck, maybe, because like Lady Luck lets you look at the top 3 and you get to keep one on there.
I think they can use that. It's also got its own built-in way using the Children of the Force to search your deck. I was using it the other day with Winter and her observation point, getting to look at both cards. Then I could discard the card if I didn't like it, so I could get to look again. So yeah, there's quite a few different ways you can sort of mitigate the variance, which you can't do as much with attack pattern Delta. So
yeah, but none of that, like the Children of the Force and the Winter thing's a good idea. I didn't think of that, but even between those two, that's still not even mildly close to Ron's guidance.
Yeah, Ron's guidance, you can set it up perfectly.
Yeah, perfectly.
Especially when you got the freelance slicer out as well. So you can say, yeah, I'm going to put a Spectre unit first, then an enhancement, so I can trigger this one, trigger that one. Everything starts falling into place.
And then like that 2-drop unit third, so you can activate it on their turn. Yeah, it just, ugh, it feels so bad. It feels so variant. Like
I love the card, but I can see why you hate it.
If it didn't do Spectres, I wouldn't hate it that much. Like you get the 2-drop units for free, cool. But like getting Zeb and Cannon Jarrus, like you're getting way too much money for nothing. And like once you get that Yoda you seek Yoda Cannon Jarrus bamboozle happens to you, you will immediately you'll like text me and you'll be like, dog, it happened to me. It feels bad. It feels really bad.
The only other thing I can think of is if they adapt the Spectre part to maybe be 3 costs or less, so you don't get your Kanans and Zebs, but you might get the lesser characters.
Yeah, like Sabine. Yeah. Like you could get Sabine, and if they make other Spectres in the future, that'd probably be fine. Or just like I said, just for now, I think they should. For now, I don't think that it's. I don't. It's hard to say because it's like it's broken when you use it with Ron's guidance. And the reason it feels that way is because of that variance. Like some games, it's complete trash, but other games it just goes off, and there isn't a lot the DS can do about it. And that's what bothers me is there's like, well, how do I counterplay against that? I can't shuffle your deck. Like, I can't not let you play. Like, I could cancel Ron's guidance, I guess, but I can't stop you from activating Spark. Like, I could Shadows over the Empire it, and that's what I thought. I honestly thought about that for like hours. I was like, I'm gonna play Masterful Manipulation in my goddamn Navy deck.
Just
Because it's just gonna shuffle back, so I'll always have 3 Navy objectives out, right? Like, I'll just do that, and then I have Shadows of the Empire. Caesar's not bad, his ship's fine. Like, deck collector, okay, whatever. All my other resources are great. And I literally thought about that for like a long, long time. And I was like, this is all to just deal with stupid Spark. And I know that what's gonna happen is it's going to ruin a game. There's going to be some camera match, some nationals, some Origin, some Gen Con, where some dude is going to play that and just be like, oh, hit, oh, hit, oh, hit. And then his opponent's going to be like, wow, cool. Like, great. That felt awesome. Felt very skill intensive. And I hate cards that are like that.
Yeah.
And very few Star Wars cards are like that.
It reminds me of the Freeholder days with the, So we want to avoid that at all costs, I think.
High variance BS, and like there's very little of it. Most of the time, Star Wars rewards you for skill, but Spark is not skill intensive, and like deck's not hard to play. Deck is very easy to play, and the version that I played with Han, like I said, was insane. I'd had poor draws that day, but I feel it's one of the best builds. The one with Falcon is great too with the Bamboozle, and so TGO played the one with Gamblo, and that did extremely well.
I played that one, yeah. It's,
and like the reason behind that too is because outside of that, like if you take away Spark from that deck, like just Spark doesn't exist. You're still playing Yoda. You're still playing Kyle Katarn. Like the Zeb's pod isn't terrible. And like you're either playing Han or Falcon or Gamblo. Like those aren't bad pods outside of that combo. Like it's not like you lose a ton of steam because you have to play some weird pod with Spark. Like Kyle's not a bad pod. And that's what if Ron's Guidance was in some like really shit pod and like they had to play Spark and then some garbage pod that had no Spark targets in it to get Ron's Guidance or like a card that was like it, fine. But you're losing no steam for playing those 2 cards together. Like it takes nothing away from that deck. But yeah, I'm gonna lose a high variance game to it. That's what's gonna happen. Then I'm gonna care about it and I'm gonna lose and it's gonna crap on me. So
okay then, so I think it's time to pull that Carbonite lever and stick it in the Carbonite Chamber. Right, so now onto your good card. Now you sort of gave us a spoiler earlier.
spoiler alert.
Yeah. Go on then.
It's Captain Nita, man.
Captain Nita.
I had to decide between Nita and Blockade. Like I love Blockade, but Nita is the super secret double elite resource. Like if you do the math on like I don't think this is what I mean. I don't think people thought about like how Nita works, because the turn that you play him, he effectively costs 1, right?
Yeah.
Or less, because you can focus him. So he's free. He's a free, not limited resource because you're going to play a capital ship. You're going to have a capital ship in your hand. If you play him and play a capital ship, you just got a free 3 resource card with elite, like double elite, actually triple elite, because he just reduces the ship and has a resource himself. So he gives you 3 resources a turn. He can be committed to the Force and he can deliver Imperial Fest. Like right now in the current state of the game, he does everything that you want. And like this situations where he's bad. People play Chuck Luke, like the lights of whatever call BST or whatever. That Luke. That Luke is bad for him because he can throw his lightsaber and just kill him, right? So you have that, Brainiac, and like lightsaber deflection. The guy that was in the top 4 that had that Luke was the only person I saw playing that Luke that day. There might have been more. I'm not saying that there wasn't, but him. And then lightsaber deflection is if you're playing mixed Sipra, your Nita's gonna die. You accept that your Nita is dead and you move on. But still, if they use those cards on your Nita, it doesn't feel that bad because he just came down as a resource that turn. It would have been no different than drawing like I don't know, you played a control room that died or that took a lightsaber deflection out of their hand and then discarded itself from play. Like there's no drawback to that card ever. Like unless they kill him in an action window before you use him. But I don't know how you would do that with Lightside. Is there a way? Like if I play Nita, can you kill him before I just play a capital ship?
No. Not that
No,
I can think of first turn.
So no matter what, I'm going to get to play a capital ship. And like, so if he makes it past 1 turn and you go into the next turn, you start that turn with 3 more resources than you had before. Like, yes, it doesn't work for you to play out like a 12-drop Death Star, sure, but you're not playing 12-drop Death Stars. Your deck's full of capital ships. Like, he works with all of your cards, and he makes his unit at least bearable to play. Like, it's not unbearable then, it's still bearable to play. But he's super secret, like triple elite resource. It's so weird, like when you think if you get him, if you like I turn 1'd him, 2 turns later, he has produced 6 resources, and he's not limited. Like, if you play Control Room, then Nita, then Capital Ship, and commit him, it feels fantastic, because the next turn, you go into that turn with, like, 7 resources? 9? 9. You go into the turn with 9 resources. On turn 2, because you drew a Nita and a Control Room, which your deck is comprised of nothing but Control Rooms, Capital Ships, and, like, some other officers. That's literally all your deck. And the fact that he can deliver Fist, too. Like, he does absolutely everything that you want. And like, Nita goes in right now because in the current game state, he's perfect. Until they change Navy, Blockade in him, like, that is the perfect deck, and I will not play anything else until they change it. I feel that they will. I feel that they should. I feel that something needs to be changed about that deck to keep Yularen away from things, because he's insane. As the game continues, he will be more insane. But right now, this is the best Captain Nita will ever be in his entire career. Right now, in this moment, like, that pod is the best it will ever be, and I'm happy that I won with that. I am, because I strongly feel that this was the only time that Nita will be good, because they're not going to make more Yularens. They're not.
No.
So, like, if Yularen didn't exist, the Nita build is bad. The capital ship that he comes with is awful. You might play him because he's still insane. Like I said, he's a triple elite resource, but the rest of his pod is, like, hard to justify without the current game state of Yularen. But right now, he is perfectly positioned, and it's like this is his shining moment. All fingers point to Nita. But yeah, and then side note for Nita, at Gen Con, I had him double fist somebody and go unopposed and kill an objective. It felt fantastic. I was like, I will swing with Nita, and he just looks at me and he's like, I have no defenders. I was like, so you're not defending Nita? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right, edge battle. And he's like, oh no. And I was like, uh-huh. And I'm like, I will put 2 cards in. And he's like, you gotta be kidding me. And I flip it up and I'm like, fist, unopposed. Oh, it's Nita's moment. But yeah. So right now I gotta give it up to Nita, because this is the best he will ever. And then, like, I think it's hard to say that with cards, because a lot of cards are more open-ended. And like, as time goes on and more cards come out, they get better. But like, he needs to be with something that moves damage, and he needs to be with really strong capital ships. And like, or not really strong, but like, he's perfect with 3 drops. Perfect with 3-drop capital ships. And like, right now is like the glowing moment for 3-drop capital ships, moving damage off of your objective and playing a million resources. And like, an apology accepted isn't complete trash right now. Like, that's also important. Like, that card not being just complete garbage right now, which later might just be complete garbage. But I think this is the best he will ever be, and you should play him, and everybody should play him, because everybody should play under Blockade. Because real men hide behind Imperial Blockade. They make your units cost 5 so you can't play them, and you get a case of the feel bads.
You heard it here, people. Play Nita.
Make people feel bad.
Yeah.
Nita makes people feel bad. It makes you feel good.
Cool.
When your opponent can't play, you feel so smart. When you flop Imperial Blockade, you're like, I'm so good at the game. You can't even play the cards in your hand. Look how good I am. And then you don't move them with entrenched defenses, and you're like, it's fine. I can take the damage. I'm drawing a Yularen. And then you play it, and you move the damage. You're like, see? It all comes together.
Cool. Right, so let's put Nida in the Carbonite Chamber. A good card.
That's a boy. I'm so happy Nita got immortalized. He's been so bad for so long. But now is his moment. It is his day. Everybody, like, when I was playing, I remember people just being like, wow, you're playing Nita. And I was like, Nita's the nuts, man. You got to get on Nita. But yeah, and everybody's like, wow, that was bad. And then I won with him. And then I see people playing him. I'm like, yeah! Everybody's going to be on Nita. And it, like, it'd be so funny if next year Worlds is literally just like If they don't change Navy and everyone's flopping blockade and like
Yeah.
everybody's just got a
It's
face
your
on.
fault.
Yeah. Like you're gonna have to put in all your guys, but that's like that's the great matchup, right? You play Spark, which is the card I hate the most, versus Imperial Blockade Choke, where your units you don't have to pay for. It's like the perfect match. No, my Nita. Maybe that's why I hate Spark so much. He counters Blockade, counters my Nita.
Mm.
What?
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for your guys? This is shit. Pay for your units. You pay for your units. Don't get them for free. Yeah.
Cool. Well, Brad, it's been a pleasure having you on. I want to thank you for kicking off Frozen and Carbonite in 2017.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah,
I got the
believe
first one of the year.
yeah, first one in the year.
Woo.
So, is there any last shout outs you want to make to anyone?
Oh
Anyone
man, I
special?
got it. Like honestly, we have like the whole Facebook crew that I hang out with, like me, Mick, and like Josh and Andy and Tom are like have been in a group since we did the podcast that one time. All those guys, they're absolutely hilarious. They've bailed me out a lot, like Josh. And like Josh has bailed me out, and Tom, like I'll show him my deck list before I go to tournaments because I don't like read the cards and I hardly ever play. But I'll show him my deck list and I'm like, is this crap? Like, is this crap? Tell me if this is crap. Because like I don't want the Navy thing that happened to me where I was just like not playing the good broken combo. Like I don't want to be that idiot. Like, oh my god, I didn't figure this out. But yeah, so like every time we go to an event, they help me out. Like Mick, by the way, borrowed me that Navy deck. I didn't own those cards. And I was like, Mick, your cards are so good for me. So yeah, big shout out to him for like borrowing me his Navy cards. But yeah, I like those guys a lot. They're definitely fun to hang out with. They're really nice. Like honestly, this whole community out of all of the games I've played, like I mean that about like Magic. Like you go into Magic and people are like that. You go into like Thrones, it's still a fantasy flight game, but people are like that. People are like always playing for the belt, like in those games. But this community is so small, and like I don't go crazy on the forums. Like I read on the forums and stuff. Like I don't post a ton or anything, but every time I'm on the forums, like there's never like shitter threads. Like there's never shit posting where people are just like grilling someone. Like I like very rarely see that stuff. And at tournaments, like everyone is nice. I forgot I think it was the New York crew were like handing out promos at Worlds. Like those guys were just running around handing out promos, and they're like, oh hey, here. And it's like, oh cool. Like but yeah, like just doing that, like going and printing promos with your own money. And like I feel if the community wasn't this way, if it wasn't so tight knit like this, the game would already be dead. Because like Fantasy Flight has tried their least to keep this game going, right? And I feel the only reason that it is going is because that community is so nice. Playing Star Wars players, this is my favorite game to play right now because of the community. I play almost no games of it because like the game is a great game. I just don't play it that much, but I love going to events because I love the community. I love seeing everybody. I love talking to people, like, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars is funny. It's a funny game. Like thinking about a Tauntaun getting the edge on like an emperor and like spitting in his face and killing him is it's hilarious to me. Or like Luke runs up and like and cuts the executor in half. Like, or Vader is like, I can't kill that X-wing. I guess I'll choke myself, and then it like blows up in space. Like it's stuff like that. And like Andy and you guys and like Kira Mode and like everybody running the podcast and stuff. That's fantastic. It's great. And I also feel like it's very good for new players. Like it's a very inviting environment. Out of all of the stuff I've done, and I've played tons of card games, this is the best environment. So I have to give out a huge shout out to the community. And like I said, I apologize for the sick thing. Like that sucked. And I hope people get to see the video. It's not that exciting. It's exciting to watch me win with a shit hand, but like he made so many mistakes. He just punted a championship to me. It's not like I went in the grinder and earned it, right? Like we didn't have like an epic battle or something. It's just mistakes. I win with a shit hand. Other people, the judges did really well at Worlds this year. There was like very little nonsense. I didn't hear of anything. Didn't hear a story that bothered me. The judges did extremely well. Eric, I think that's his name, right? Eric. Yeah. He does well every time I see him. He's very clear. He's concise, and he makes rulings. He doesn't mess around, and he is consistent, and that's extremely important. And he stands by his calls. He always stands by his calls, and he doesn't show favoritism or anything either. He's one of the best judges I've seen for a game. He's very, very good. Trying to think of any others. You, man, thanks for having me on. You got up at like the umpteen hours of the night, and I kept you up for like
I,
2 hours. So
I'd do anything for this hobby. I love this card game, and
it's
I love
sweet.
putting this show out because it just pulls the community together. Give a chance for the community to speak and get their word out and everything.
I like watching. I like listening to people. People have been so many. Hey, secret, don't type. So many people are like much better at this game than me. When I listen to people, I'm like, oh my god, this
Yeah.
guy is sick. Like the
I'm
Cure
like
Mode
that as well.
podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cure Mode podcast. I was like, this guy is nuts. Like he's on a different level. And I was like, I need to read these cards. Like I need to start reading cards. And then like I get all juiced up about it, and I tell like Josh and those guys, they're like, no, don't do it. You'll ruin your magic. Don't read the cards. Like like don't fix what ain't broken. You're winning world championship. Stop reading cards. But yeah, and I'm just like juiced. I like Cure Modes where he's like, yeah, all these pods that have cool like concepts around them, but there's not enough to build around them. And I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, man, what would I put? And I'm like, no, stop, gotta stop. But yeah, so it's sweet to listen to those people's takes on the game. And I come from like I feel very different because I come from like a Magic background and Netrunner and like other games and Thrones and stuff. So like there's people that are just in Star Wars and hearing their stuff about Star Wars, and like my Magic mind thinks differently, and like there's just stuff that I miss that's very obvious because I'm not thinking Star Wars. But yeah, that definitely pays off. I don't think. No, I think I'm good. I think that's all the shout outs I got. The whole crew.
Okay, and then
Just really, just like I said, everybody.
yeah,
Game's great. Players are great.
cool. Okay, then that's it for this one. Join us next time where we will continue to probe members of the Star Wars LCG community and find out what cards they love and hate. Until next time, may the Force be with you.